Welcome to the Germinate podcast, where agriculture, business, and innovation take root and thrive. I'm Joe Sampson, and with nearly 2 decades of experience in agricultural equipment and scaling businesses, I'm here to bring you actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategic advice. Whether you're an industry veteran or just starting out, this podcast is your guide to cultivating ideas, expanding your knowledge, and growing your venture. So let's get started and germinate your path to success. Hey folks, welcome back to the Germinate podcast. I'm your host, Joe Sampson. With me today is a very special guest, guy I've known for a real long time. And, we just used to have conversations back in the day about what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, I will introduce Jamie Meier with Landoll Corporation. What's up, man?
Hey, not too much. Good to be on here with you, Joe. So,
Yeah,
yep,
man.
looking forward to seeing where we're going to go here.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, hey, I'm new at this too, so we'll figure it out as we go. But man, I really appreciate you joining me on this and kind of helping me out more than anything else. And I think everybody's going to be interested in hearing your insights on a lot of things as well. So appreciate it.
You bet. You bet.
Well, yeah, let's just start. I don't know, talk about yourself, talk about a little bit about your background, where you came from. You've kind of got an interesting past with working for kind of a different manufacturer as well. So kind of go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess been working for Landoll, for the last 18 years, and that's been fabulous. Working for a private company, one that has visions that align with where I wanted to go with business and support and product development. And a lot of those things are important. When we go to farm shows and work shows, we like to go work the show with confidence. And, one of those key things is, who do you have backing you up,
Mm-hmm.
And so Don Landoll, he's founded Landoll Corporation company now. And he's been terrific supporting us and our customers. And when we have problems out there, he's not afraid to step up to the plate and take care of people. And he's truly is interested in customer satisfaction. And so that's one of the things that's worked well for us is taking care of customers, taking on problems. It's if people come into the show and have issues, it's there are things that we don't try to run from. It's what can we learn and how can we help them.
Yeah.
And that's paid dividends for us, I think, and we'll continue to work that direction.
Yeah, I mean, Don and Landoll, just the company, which is sort of a representation, obviously, of Don since he started. What year did he start that company, by the way? Do you know?
Yeah, 1963. Yeah.
1963. Yeah, and it's fun, for those of you out there listening, if you ever get a chance to talk with Don, whether it be we're at a FEMA show or if you just see him out and about, he's a great guy to just, kind of talk with and get his background on, because it's sort of a rare breed. But what I was going to say with you, Jamie, is he's still a relationship guy, and that sort of, that mentality, I see it in all Landoll employees. When you go to a farm show, there's guys there that want to build up a relationship with customers. When you see it with the employees and purchasing, the Kenny Lees of the world and
Yeah.
Phil, he's a very much a relationship guy. Talk about that. Is that something that he instills in you guys, or is that just known?
Well, yeah, I think that certainly, and maybe he's just been lucky in attracting those, that type of person as well.
Yeah.
is that, but we see it in him. And it always starts at the top and works its way down. You take on those philosophies of leadership, and Don is, but that's where I come from too. Is very similar beliefs. That it's people at the end of the day. It's people working together, people working with people, and to get things done. So so the relationships are important. He's done a great job with working with suppliers, and he values that. that
Mm-hmm.
relationship for sure.
Yeah.
So, and just as we do our customers, it's got to work both directions, for uh, to have a good company and solid foundation of where you're headed. It takes a lot of good people around you.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. There's not just, there's no way we could just do this with one or two of us. It takes a group of people to just work together to get everything done. And, that, like you were saying, the supply chain on down to the customers. And, as we're recording this to kind of talk about the customers, one thing that's pretty big in our industry was last week's Louisville Farm Show. And, maybe talk a little bit about that show and the importance of it for Landoll. It's always kind of like the launching ground, the first real launching ground show of the season. Is that right? Or is that how you guys treat it?
Well, it's a big show,
Yeah.
and I mean it attracts people from all over. I mean we were, it's unbelievable how many states were on our booth,
Yeah.
and that I've talked to, and certainly Canada and is represented well from many of the provinces, and as well as all the states in the U.S. Michigan always travels good. Wisconsin does. Talk to people from New York and back east, Virginia. And then of course all the I states, those are easy, right?
Yeah.
And Kentucky and um, Missouri and people from Kansas, Nebraska. I mean, all those places.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super huge. It you know it is a little bit late in regards to and I think maybe 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it was probably more important because there were still sales happening for spring. And today, equipment has been so tight, and that's one of the things that I've really seen change in the industry is the lack of inventory equipment on dealers' lots, and so
Mm-hmm.
it kind of changes the game. If you don't have your items bought towards the end of the year, then it's becoming increasingly more difficult to walk in and buy something for spring. And so basically everything is bought, but it's so we're really having conversations at Louisville more about next year, what's that look like, and probably not as many people that are ready to pull the trigger and buy something today, but hey, we're looking, and so we're having those kind of conversations. And then the other one, I've kind of mentioned before there a little bit is the service side, and
Mm-hmm.
we work the show. It's hard today, just take care of people and build those relationships and get out to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that uh, think that they can, sit on a computer and um, you know, ask get the orders from the dealer or whatever, and limiting the old sales calls and going to the field, going to the customer's place, and we're kind of reverse of that. We're maybe a little old school that way, but at the end of the day, we know our equipment's running good. It's amazing how many people appreciate that, our customers. And being there for it and get them. They're making a big investment.
Yeah.
$100,000 a day or better. To buy a tillage tool, um, and so they deserve to have our support and us to be there and get them started off. So we're doing a lot of that.
Yeah. You said it's maybe a little bit different today at that show. What do you think? Was it a product of COVID, you think, that got the everything turned around, or do you think this trend was happening before that, or what's your thoughts there?
Well, I, I kind of wonder if it's a little bit of it's big dealers. I mean,
Okay.
and the size of dealerships today and 'cause I mean they're mind-boggling, super huge, right? With the
Right.
number of locations that they're dealing with, and certainly the interest rates, I think, more recently have had a big impact, on inventory levels you know, so it was one thing when you were thinking about the inventory that a person may have at their location, and now you take that times 50 or 80 or some of these guys that have that many locations, and so you're really talking about a super huge number of money and cash tied up, and so that's got to be very challenging for the dealers out there to handle that. So,
Yeah.
that's been something that we've always tried to do is be able to move quickly, and I think again, kind of getting back into Don and some of the things that he's done for us is getting the equipment and allowing us that allows us to build and shorten those lead times. It's been, now I'd have to admit it's been horrible the last 3 or 4 years, um, and that with the super huge demand that was put on us through the COVID times and all the restrictions there we had, and our company is very diversified,
Sure.
which is super cool, but not when everybody's hitting on all 8 cylinders. Like, uh,
Yeah.
we were we were battling for production time amongst our other divisions. We make narrow aisle forklifts that those guys are doing really good. Got a super neat product to promote, and then of course our trailer division. Those guys have been really hitting it out of the park, and they've got some great products to sell, not only to our dealer network, but also way different industries that they get involved with, the rental business and so forth. And so those guys have been doing really good, and still they're kind of picking up the slack right now with us being a little bit soft, but that's a beautiful thing when we start looking around our industry and see the number of people that are getting laid off, and the disruption that is causing. And Don is proud of the fact that he's. I believe I'm correct in saying this. I've heard him say it before. I should, but I don't believe he's ever had a layoff, a true layoff of people. Maybe
Wow.
it's happened one time, but his diversification. Usually, he's been able to shift our workforce to another segment of our business that's doing well. And so, that's pretty cool. And, because again, relationships, right? And it's
Yep.
relationships that we have with our employees. They mean something to us. And, I'm talking like me, but to the company.
That's the thing about Landoll, for those of you that don't know, about every OEM out there is probably chasing the model that Landoll's put out there because of the diversification. I mean, you named them all: trailers, fork trucks, government contracts.
Yeah.
And when one industry shifts, you just shift some of that production over to the trailer side of things. And when the ag tillage side picks back up, you shift it back over. It's a beautiful thing. It's a hell of a model. And everybody's trying to copy that right now when the ag market is so soft, but that's not something that you can just do overnight. I don't know if this was part of Don's strategy, but it worked out well. It's a great strategy.
Well, he learned in those tough days in the 80s, right? I mean,
Okay.
and of course he was, his business started, well, weld shop and radiator repair. Then he started building, manufacturing some products, and then agriculture was close, and so he started building some ag tools, and then he built the trailer, and got the patent on the traveling axle trailer, which is super huge. But um, when the 80s come, the big thing that pulled him through was he was able to get a contract making de-icers, and so he likes to share that story, and it's like, wow, I wish I could close a deal like that, because
Right. Right. I
he,
know.
he talks about it was right around Thanksgiving time, and he had to go fly and do kind of a secret meeting. He couldn't tell anybody where he was going, and the uh, scored a $43 million order, for building these de-icers, and I think that was 1984, if I recall correctly. And of course, those were tough times in
Yeah.
agriculture, and so, but to get a $43 million order was awesome. But so there was the OEM and government, so it wasn't even trailers. It was, dealing with OEM, and And I think that some airlines he worked for, made de-icers for them, but that was super huge, right? That got us through the 80s, and then so that's where it really, that really paid off big time there. So
I mean, it's those series of events that happen in our lives, and that's one of them that obviously sticks out to Don. Like, my gosh, can you imagine that day
all right,
and that deal? Like, that's
let's have a cocktail, right?
right. Let's
uh,
celebrate and have a drink after that one. That's
yeah,
those are the sort of the events and the courses that happen that kind of shift and change the trajectory of all businesses. And I think the key to it, I don't know this, you obviously you know this more, but the key to it is that relationship portion where he took care of his customers and took care of his people, and he kind of surrounded himself with good people. That's sort of the motto that I've been saying on this podcast that I've been putting together, how important those three things are, and
yeah,
look at it today where it's all ended up, and who knows where it's going to go in the future. I mean, that's the other exciting part.
right. We're not done. I mean,
Right.
Landoll's not done, and there's some pretty cool things that we're working on right now. That yeah, that'd be pretty. So we have some potential things we can share. In the next year, hopefully, that are some pretty cool opportunities.
Yeah, talk about a little bit about sort of the Landoll difference, and when you're at a farm show, and what is it that sets Landoll apart? I'll just kind of give you my 30,000-foot view is, you can almost see the quality coming out of a piece of Landoll tillage. It's well built, it's heavy duty. It uses a lot of products that, a lot of the products are vertically integrated, meaning they're made right there in Marysville, Kansas.
For
It's
sure.
it's just a difference that you can see. But what's your kind of sales or elevator pitch to everybody? Is why is it so different and unique?
Well, I think it's important that you start off with something, a great product that's reliable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll be the first to admit we're probably not as the super marketers that some of them are. I think that we've got some competitors that do a fantastic job of marketing their products.
Hmm.
And now I may be a little biased, but I believe that we're far superior to them. So it's a wonder they sell anything, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep. There you go. Let's not
but
talk about them. Yep.
but I mean, hey, it's the competition's good out there, and we're friends with these guys too, right? I
Sure.
mean,
Of
so
course.
I mean that's the thing that is pretty cool about our industry is we're all competitors, but yet we still respect one another as well. But I think getting back to the product, we work so hard at following up and making sure that things are right. And when we recognize that we have shortfalls, or shortcomings, we try to correct those things. And you know, we warranty expense is always one of those numbers that you manage, right? And I think there's two ways to manage the warranty expense line. One, is to flatly shorten your warranty period or not allow warranties to come through.
Hmm.
Uh, and then the second is just take care of the problem so it doesn't happen again. And that's certainly the way that I've always believed that we got to know what our problems are. We got to take them on and correct those. And so we've Don's again has been very supportive of that philosophy as well. And sometimes it's painful, right? I mean, nobody wants to give away
Yeah.
thousands of dollars, but we try to see further down the line, but so going back, it really starts at the design process, right? It's up to the engineer to develop a product that separates us. And I think that if we stand toe to toe with many of our competitors, and they park them side by side, we're going to win that battle.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think some of our competitors, when we start talking about going against the deer and the cases, they would love to kick us out. Deer, I'm referring to, not necessarily the dealers, but they would rather us not be there. But I feel like we're very supportive, and they really shouldn't look at us as a competition. But yet, a way to keep people coming in their door into the John Deere dealership, Case dealership, AGCO dealership, whatever it may be. We're kind of one of those products that you don't have to worry about it. We take care of any issues, try to, and when we kind of break down barriers, on brands, so maybe we get the other color guy into a Landoll VT, and then next thing you know, maybe they can sell him a tractor,
Right.
uh, and so we think there's opportunities. We think there's opportunities in us and getting dealers product in a shorter time frames. Again, we haven't been great on that the last few years, but imagine that we're way better today, right? I mean,
Yeah.
with the lack of demand that's out there right now, everybody's fighting, but we're still taking chances, and we're still building product, and we have product available, for retail sales, and rather than just laying people off and shutting the doors, we're still building. So,
Well, yeah, and it's sought after product. I mean, the I'm assuming your customer is they know what they want, and to your point, kind of the challenging part sometimes might be, well, where the heck am I going to get this? Because where can I find it? Where's it at? And that's where you and your team come in to say, hey, we got you. We'll figure it out, and we
right.
know you want it. I'm guessing a lot of your customers are repeat customers, and
Oh,
they
for
just
sure.
keep, yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just
I
keep
mean,
coming back.
yeah, that's big time, and we've got to have that. And
Yep.
once we're on the farm, we don't want to let them go, right? I mean, our goal is to have all their tillage equipment blue, and grain drills too. So, um,
Right. Right.
yeah.
We'll talk about, that's awesome on Landoll and kind of the back history on that. But talk about this market. This is a fun little market we're dealing with right now. And I don't know, it seemed like the theme coming out of Louisville, and you tell me differently, but the theme that I heard was a lot of tariff talk, ton of tariff talk. What are these tariffs going to do? What are the retaliatory tariffs going to do? But also a lot of talk on commodity prices and high inventory levels, all the things that seems like we've been talking about now in this industry for what? I don't know, about a year now, it seems.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. About it.
w-
Yeah.
yeah, what's your take? And like I alluded to when we first started, we used to have conversations like this all the time. And your insights on this are impressive, man. So I'm curious to hear your take on where this industry is today and where do you think it's going and when do you think things will kind of rebound here?
Well, I guess let's start first, maybe by looking backwards there a little bit,
Yeah.
and um, you know, 23 was a way better year than I anticipated.
Hmm.
I mean, and of course we had a lot of carryover money from 22, and 23 we just zipped right through, and I mean, we came in at the end of the year in 23, what was that, 14 months ago, um, and we were still riding high, and I had man, we got 24's in the bag.
Right. Right.
We still had such a backlog of retailed units, and we had over a year's supply of orders, on the books, and then so as surprisingly good as 23 was, because we'd already seen the grain prices start backing off, and so I guess there's always a lag, right? Um, and so when 24 came, uh, month of January was great. Had a great month of January. Then February come. Whoa,
What
man,
happened?
that was quiet. And it typically is quiet this time of year, right? So like
Sure. Sure.
again, I kind of mentioned all the a lot of the buying's already done for spring, and so
Right.
nothing really in our business happens again until crops are in the ground, crops are coming up, and then they start thinking about fall and where we're heading, what we're gonna and yes, we are gonna have crop, and so it got really quiet, and unfortunately, it stayed really quiet all through 24. In
Yeah.
fact, there was a point in time there that we honestly had more cancellations than we did orders, and so it got really tricky, and scary, and but we made it through the year fine, and one thing about it, the retail the orders that we get are retailed, right? So those are the good ones that they
Those
come
are the
in,
ones you
go out.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we just need more of them. But so 24 is tough, and so that kind of you know uh, you know carried into 25, and I 25 um, uh, it's going to be another challenging year, I think. Now, as far as what we're forecasting, and we're still hopeful, eternal optimist, my wife says that I am, and but so we're still hopeful for the backside of 25. Let's get the crop in, let's get the crop growing. Let's see where South America shakes out with their yields. We're blessed with lower inventory, grain inventories at the end of the year than they had thought. So we have seen our grain prices uh, working their way back up a little bit. So I think that corn prices when we're looking at corn on the Chicago Board of Trade, we're probably very similar to where we were a year ago on December corn. So which has been working its way up since the end of the year. So if we get back over $5, that would, I think, make a lot of people feel better. I think what we where are we at, 470 now or something like that for.
Yeah, we were just looking at the board, 476 for December, which
Yeah.
is similar to last year, but it's better.
Yeah.
I like your eternal optimist.
It's certainly better than we were 2 months ago, right?
Well,
So
this is true. This is true. Yeah.
but we continue to work that up, and so that'll be favorable for us, and give us an opportunity to maybe come back at the end of the year and do a little bit better. There'll probably be a little bit of a lag, but these kind of years and these kind of buying, everybody pulling back, the pendulum will swing, and if guys are holding on to their tools for a year or two or three longer, then that's just pent up demand, and that'll all catch back up. So, um, anyways, I think we got a good plan for the year. The first quarter for sure. We're looking very solid, and second quarter, third quarter, those will be the 2 quarters that will be a little bit challenging, I think, and then hopefully we'll finish strong. With a good corn crop, or fall crops, I should say. And then I shouldn't forget about our wheat guys. So we still raise some hard red winter wheat out here in the plains, and
Yeah.
that price is up. We're up a little bit from where we were a year ago, and we were up like 40 cents compared to where we were last month. And so that's positive as well. So there's all those things help. Our cattle guys have been doing good. I mean, the cattle prices are good, and the dairy guys, I'd like to see that milk, get back up there. They're $20. I think they're a little under that right now, but if we get those guys, because all that helps, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's interconnected. They're all interconnected, and sort of like what you were saying. It's definitely a global world now. So what happens in South America? What happens in Russia and Ukraine? What happens in China with them cutting POs for our grains? I mean, we're connected way more today than we ever have been. So,
yeah. You mentioned tariffs earlier, and I guess
yeah,
that was I talked about everything but tariffs. So about that, so
yeah,
but
it's a fun thing to talk about. Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, as far as tariffs and what all that looks like, I guess of course we got tariffs that can affect our purchasing, of items coming in. Now most of it is U.S., but we do buy some things from Canada, and who knows what's going to truly happen, right?
it's
But
too
I
early
am
to
going to
tell.
give you
Yeah,
my 2 cents, just an opinion only, and that's. Uh, but I think the 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. I don't see, I see that as, hey, help us out here, guys. And I don't think that, I guess I don't know what Trump is thinking, but I'd like to think that he doesn't intend to enforce those as long as we get some help securing the border and help the limit the flow of fentanyl into our country.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I don't feel real threatened by that. From the goods that we buy from, we buy more from Canada probably than we do from Mexico, um, and also in our sales, and I was pleased, when Canada came out with their list of items that they were going to reciprocate that tariff on. The farm equipment was excluded from that, so there wasn't, and actually our trailers were as well. So there wasn't anything that was going to be affected or hit that Landoll produces that we ship into Canada. They weren't going to tax our stuff, so that was good. But at the end of the day, we kick the can down the road. Hopefully, everybody engages and helps.
I think the reality of it is, like I said, I want to call them excuses, but tariffs, big inventory numbers, commodity prices, those are really things that none of us can control anyways. So
Right.
we spent a ton of energy. There was a ton of energy talking about them in Louisville. And I think it's valid. I mean, you got to know what's going on in the world to
Yeah, that's
understand
right.
where the market is, but you can't control it. We don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too political here, but I think we all kind of know where we sway. And some of the, some of the Trump tariffs are going to cause some pain. They're going to be painful for some of us in business, some of us just buying everyday things. But what you have to ask yourself, is that pain necessary to, kind of make some of the products back here in the States again? I mean, hell, I was talking to a bearing guy in Louisville, and bearings haven't been made in the States for, I'm going to guess here, somebody will probably fact check me, but I'm going to say 50 years. And they're talking about bringing manufacturing back to the US to make a bearing. And I
Right.
was like, wow, it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So some of these things are starting to kind of manifest into what they should be, where we should be making more of our stuff here in the US. And, I don't know what your take is on that, but I kind of have a feeling I know.
Oh, for sure. Right. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
yeah. For sure. I think that's the reciprocating tariffs. Not to get, like you say, too political, but that certainly seems like a very good idea to me. If we're letting them come into our country and compete against us with untariffed items, and I know we've sold into Europe and places like that, and they whap us pretty hard.
Yeah.
We are paying tariffs to go play ball over there, and so it certainly has been a barrier to entry. And how many U.S. made cars are floating around Europe? Probably not very many, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's level that playing field up. Let's make sure everybody has an opportunity. It won't hurt my feelings if our European competitors have a
Competition.
a little tariff hit on them there. If they're going to hit us on going that direction. So.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's sort of yet to be determined on what's going to happen and where everything's going to shake out. But in the end, you got to control what you can control, and
that's right.
and sometimes those are things that are out of our control. So all the things you talked about are, hey, let's continue to build quality products, continue to carry relationships, continue to take care of our customers. That's what we can control. So
Yeah, right.
let's do those things, and the rest will take care of itself.
Right. Right on. Yep.
Yeah. Well, as we're wrapping up here, let's just kind of talk a little. I mean, you clearly 18, almost 20 years of doing this. You're looking at numbers. You're looking at commodity prices. You're looking at tariffs. You're paying attention to the news. You're leading sales teams all over the country. You're going to shows, traveling a lot. What does Jamie Meier do to get away from it all, man, and just clear the mind? What's your go-to?
Oh, well, it little bit of everything, I guess, but I have been known to play a little bit of competitive golf, so
I've seen that, man. I've seen that.
we like to win, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something else that me and President Trump have in common. But yeah, we like to golf. My wife and I, we do a little golfing, and still not as good as I want to be, but it is what it is. So
It's a tough sport because all of us want to be good, and the thing is with golf, almost like any other sport, I can go out there and do what Tiger Woods does on a hole. I can do one hole like that. I've done it
yeah,
before.
yeah,
But the problem is it's the next hole that I got to play where I
right.
screw that
That's
up,
the double bogey you get on the next hole that
Yeah, exactly.
humbles you again, right?
I I can't dunk a basketball. I can't score a touchdown in the NFL. I can't drive a car at Daytona. I'd like to do all those things, but I
Right.
can't. But I can go put a birdie down on a golf course, and. So I
Uh,
hear you on golf. What about? I know you're married. You got a couple kids in there. Are they both out of the house? I can't remember.
yeah. Yep. Well,
Yeah.
actually, and one stepdaughter. So yep, all three
Okay.
are all grown up, and uh, next month they'll all three be married. So
Oh,
anyway, we got
nice.
one wedding to go, and one grandchild's born. So yep, we're moving into the next chapter, and I've handled it. It's like how do so the parents out there that are transitioning, it's not all bad. So you'll
I've
make
I've heard that. I've got a sister that her daughter just went to Iowa State. I don't want to put much love into Iowa State, but I'll go ahead and say it's all right.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so she just left this year for Iowa State, and they became empty nesters. And she said at first it was kind of difficult, but then it was like, wait a minute, the house is always clean. I can watch what I want to watch on TV. We can go
that's all
do something at night. So I get it. I get it. I
right. Well,
understand.
I love the kids, and we love the chasing sports, and we had a great time, for whatever that decade or whatever that lasted, and so
Yeah,
man,
I hear you.
it's
I
it, yeah,
I'll get Googled on this again too, but I heard this stat. I think it's probably accurate, but it said you spend 92% of the time with your children before until they're 18 years old. I kind of screwed that up, but the point is you spend 92% of the time with them. And then when they're gone, you only you got 8% left. So you're right in saying that. We better enjoy it and not wish
cats in
them.
the cradle, man, cats in
Yeah.
the cradle.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got an almost 17-year-old and an almost 15-year-old. It's wild to even think of, but yeah, I'll enjoy them while I can for sure because
Yep,
it goes by quick.
yep.
Well, tell everybody how to get in touch with you, how to get in touch with Landoll.
Yeah. So yeah, you can just go to our website, landoll.com, and that's probably the easiest. All of our contact information's on there. We got a mugshot of me and phone numbers and email addresses and all that stuff. So yeah, of course, all of our products are there too. And yeah, we're yep. If we can help, reach out and let me know.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, like I said, I appreciate you doing this with me. And like I said, hopefully we can do it again one of these days. We'll just kind of keep this regular. You're gonna be the guest that everybody knows. I can tell you that.
All right. All right,
So,
man.
all
Joe,
right.
thank you.
That
You're
was Jamie Meier,
good.
everybody. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Good luck, and I appreciate you.
All right,
See you,
man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
bye.
Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into the Germinate podcast. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others in the industry. And join me next time as we continue to explore the innovations and strategies shaping the future of agriculture and business. Until then, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep germinating your success.